All right, I want to take a look right now at the concept of land ownership and basically to see how this concept is going to appear moving forward. So we have the current concept of land ownership in the Western world, at least, where you can buy a plot of land and then you could theoretically pass it on to someone else when you die or whatever. Now, I want to see this concept as it moves forward because it doesn't seem to fit into a New World Order framework at all. But maybe I'm wrong about that. So let's take a look at this. I have already shuffled these, and I had a really weird angle in the camera, so I had to restart. But these are the two that have been established so far. Now, the Emperor as the root card. And this is control. So this is our root card as we look at the concept of land ownership. Now, it's interesting that the emperor shows up because the truth is nobody owns land. Nobody owns any land. We don't own the earth. It's the other way around, right? So we can say and have some fucking piece of paper that says that this chunk of land is ours, but does the land agree with that? I mean, the land doesn't give a fuck about that piece of paper. The earth doesn't care about some contract with your government. The earth doesn't care about any of that stuff. So here with a root card, we have the Emperor. And this is about control. Now, I guess the real owner of the land is whoever has control over the land. And even as we look at this, I mean, it goes deeper, literally, because when we talk about land ownership, how deep are we talking? Are we talking the first couple inches of surface dirt? Do you say that people own what is, 50 feet underneath or 100 feet or 1,000 feet? Because that's a whole different world. But anyway, this is saying that the root of the matter is control. So the concept of land ownership already doesn't kind of mean anything. It's about who controls the land. And that may not always be the owner. As a case in point is all of the squatters, right? The squatters that are in the empty houses and somebody owns the house. Who really has that house? The person with the deed or the person who actually lives there. Anyway, the emperor is the root. So here, this is the card that is showing up for the current understanding. And I'm talking 2023 land ownership in the Western world. And there's going to be, a lot of different understandings of land ownership throughout the earth. But currently we have a reverse hangman. Now let's look at this. I think it's a weird card to show up for what is happening right now. The hangman. This is frozen energy. It's an energy that has taken itself out of something and is kind of like trying to see things from a different perspective. The hanged man reversed. What the hell are we looking at here? Let's see if we can pull this up a little bit. I mean, restriction is the thing. That is the only thing that's really coming out. We've got the binding on the foot and the hands bound behind the back. So this just shows a restriction. Why is it reversed? I'm going to have to pull another card. Well, it's interesting too, when we look at these together, they seem to be looking at each other. It's like, So the emperor is control, and the hanged man is fucking weird. Huh. I have to pull another card on this reverse hangman to find out what it's talking about, and we get a reverse king of swords. All right. This is definitely being controlled and being restricted. So here the hangman hangs themselves. And I think what's happening here is someone else hangs the hangman. It's like being forced into this restrictive situation. And the reason I say that is because we get a reverse King of Swords. King of Swords is the militaristic commander. The King of Swords reversed is like the insane dictator. And this, I mean, maybe there are fucking laws being passed or something, but this is showing a different power sort of forcing restrictions on to people. So, I mean, that doesn't make the most sense for the way that I understand land ownership. I don't fucking own any land, so maybe that's why. But maybe there are some laws that are happening that are changing things as we speak. There's eminent domain in the United States. So ultimately, the government owns everything, and you can own land, but it's only because they allow you to. And if they decide that your land is necessary, they'll just take it. And I guess they reserve that right to do it. All right. Now let's see, considering how we're starting, let's see how this moves forward. I'm going to try to take this in 10-year chunks. So 2023, let's look at 2033. Well, the Knight of Cups is definitely not an owner of shit. The Knight of Cups is a seeker. This is someone who's on a journey, but the Knight of Cups is going somewhere. They don't own anything. This would be a transitory phase, seeking a greater truth. Let's just see. Well, I guess I'll put one for 10 more years over here in 2043. And we get the reverse chariot, and that is an energy that doesn't have a clear goal. Now, when we're looking at land ownership, the reverse chariot might really be talking about there is no clear nothing is clear as far as who owns any sort of land. There's no clear destination. There's no clear goal. The interesting thing with the Knight of Cups, it does show a journey. And then 10 years later, it's like there's no clear um, destination for that journey, or the journey is stuck somehow. All right. Let's just see if there's a card that binds these two together. Like, what is this journey? What is it moving toward? The Two of Wands. Now, this is a planting situation. This is like a farmer who's harvesting like their onions or whatever. The true meaning of the Two of Wands is creative solutions, and it's allowing different sort of inspirations to blend together. This thing being upside down, it's like not being able to solve the problem because of not being able to think clearly or not allowing different sources of inspiration to mingle. But what I'm really getting out of this is there's some reason that the earth would be rejecting planting or harvesting. And maybe that's what the Knight of Cups is showing here is a journey to where the land is receptive. And the chariot showing, I mean, this would also imply some greater fucking thing happening. and maybe that is global catastrophe or something like that. I'm just going to pull a card to see what prompts the Knight of Cups, to see what is going on there. It's taken a little while. Nothing was immediately super clear when I was just shuffling. Um, so that already shows that, like, my understanding of the situation or the question itself maybe was not exactly the right one, or maybe there's no real answer to the question. But what we get is the Ace of Pentacles reversed, and this is our universe of creation and potential. The Ace of Pentacles reversed is when that energy isn't wanting to come out. Um, no, this is galactic. This is galactic stuff here. This might be a fucking comet or something like that. Just because what I'm really seeing here is the space. And there's a bunch of reverse cards in here, but the Ace of Pentacles also is reversed. Um, so this might be something coming at us from space. It could be the alien deal as well. Let's just see if we're looking at a massive disaster within the next, I guess this was for the 10 years. So let's look at within the next 10 years, earth shattering, like fucking changes everything disaster. And it's an invasion. Knight of Wands. So is it the alien invasion? I've actually had a dream about this, and the dream says it happens next year in May of 2024. The dream also says that it's government ships. It's not actually aliens. But let's see if this is talking about the alien invasion. Reversed Empress. I think this is fucking with the land. Now, this might be terrestrial as opposed to extraterrestrial, but it goes along with this two of wands here, where there's something about the earth that isn't very receptive. The Empress reverse says the same thing. Now, this falls in line with all of the stuff about the water pollution and all of that shit, but here the Knight of Wands is saying, like, there's an invading force that basically fucks up the land. So, looking at this, the concept of home ownership, it's like, or land ownership, it's like finding land that is any good is kind of going to be the deal. And at that point, it's probably more about whether or not you're using the land instead of whether you own the land. Um, Now, I'm just going to sort of ask a yes or no here. Let's say I were to buy some land in Eureka Springs, because that's where I would buy land if I was going to do it. Let's say I were to buy land. Now, let's say I had a child born next year. Would it be possible for me to leave this land to my child in 20 years? And we get a reversed Ace of Swords, which is a no. That is a no. Now, there might be other specific things about my particular case, so I'm going to ask this again. Would your average American citizen be able to do what I was just talking about with buying the land and leaving it to their kids in 20 years? Is it possible? We got two that want to come out here. The Ten of Swords is obviously a no. The Queen of Cups is showing this sort of love and care applied. And I think th the thing that would be left to the children is rehabilitating the land. I mean, caring for the land. Um, but this is specifically caring for something that got fucked up. I wonder if this is a nuclear war, to be honest, with the Knight of Wands invading and causing the land to be not so good. Um, we'll do one quick yes or no on if the Knight of Wands is talking about a nuclear situation, radiation, and all that. And we do still have the timeline of 10 years. And there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. Huh. Judging from this, it doesn't look like land is a very good investment because the land is all going to be fucked and you're going to end up with, 10 acres of poison. Um, I would love to hear what you think about this, if you have any other ideas in this or you have any ideas of a different way to look at it. But this is what we have for now, and it doesn't look good for the concept of land ownership, to be honest. Not necessarily because of a New World Order agenda, but because the land itself will be fucked. Um, so I'd like to hear what you think. That's all for now, and peace.